Integers. We have to know what the word integers mean to understand how to compare and order integers. Okay, this is 6.1, Chapter 6, Section 1. Okay, we're going to start the negative and positive chapter. Okay, integers. Integers are the negative and positive counting numbers. Okay, now, the key phrase there is the word counting. Okay, it's counting numbers, not all numbers, but just counting numbers. And 0. Okay, the reason we put and 0, because 0 is neither negative or positive. It's just 0. But it is an integer, so we have to include it in the integers. But integers are positive and negative counting numbers and 0. So when you count, okay, Isaiah, count to 10 for me. Yeah, just count. Okay, you will notice that Isaiah did not go 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1. He didn't do that, or he didn't go 1, 1.1, 1.11, 1.12, 1.13. He didn't do that. He went 1, 2, 3 with a little coaxing by me. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, those are the counting numbers. Okay, just like negative counting numbers. Negative counting numbers are just that. Okay, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on. Okay, so counting numbers, some people call them whole numbers. Not necessarily wrong. Okay, I just call them counting numbers because bottom line is most of the time when you count, you use whole numbers. Okay, unless you're, just trying to pull a fast one on me, or if you're, I don't know anybody that does that. So, okay, so that's what integers are. Integers are the positive and negative counting numbers and 0. Now, let's think of a number line. When we think of a number line, you have 0 in the middle. Okay, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this side, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, so to the left of 0 is the negative integers. Okay, to the right of 0 is the positive integers. Okay, the further left the further left you go, the smaller the number becomes. Okay, so -99 would be smaller than -2 because it's further left on the number line. Now, the further right you go, okay, the further right that you go, the larger the number becomes. Okay, and that one's fairly obvious that 99 would be larger than 2. Okay, because it's further to the right than 2 is. Okay. I don't know if you were not busy looking out in the hallway and seeing who was out there goofing off and paying attention to me, you would have heard it. So I just said it. There you go. Question, or are you just pounding yourself in the head? Second one. All right. So, if we're looking at numbers then, we think of a number line, and let's say we have these numbers. Okay, so if we look at this, if we look at 0, okay, if we look at 0 and we're looking at 3, well, obviously 0 would be less than 3. Okay, but let's say we're looking at -1 and -5. -1 is greater than, -1 is greater than -5 if we were comparing them. Okay, let's look at an actual problem, -99, -82. So let's remember our inequality signs here. Is less than, is greater than. Okay, so which of the signs are going to go in the blank for -99 blank -82? Brandon, is less than. So this sign right here goes in the blank. Okay, the point always needs to point to the smallest number. Okay, so that means if I was doing -82 blank -99. Okay, the smaller number is -99, so I point the sign at it. Okay.
So is this the larger number? You always point to the larger number?
What did I just say twice? What did I just say twice? If I had a little rewind on my recording, I would rewind it for you. I just said that the point always points at the smallest number. Right. Thank you.
But 82 has more. Oh my God.
Well, that's why it's bigger. -82 is bigger than -99. This is the smaller number.
Oh, okay.
This is the smaller number. That's why I circled that and pointed at it. Because the decimal, just like this, if I had 100 and I had 10, okay, 10 is a smaller one, so I got to point my sign at 10. Point the sign. There's the point, pointing at the smaller number. And for Jesse's little thing, you do this right here, and then you draw the little alligator. You got teeth, and he wants the bigger mill. Okay, there is your less than sign. No. He's in the water. You can't see underneath the water. No, it's in underneath the water. All right, now, focus. I want you to open your books to page 253. Open your books to page 253 so we can do some example problems. Points to the smaller number. Hey. Now, let's look at number 1. Number 1 says, which of the following numbers which of the following numbers are integers? Okay, of those numbers that are listed underneath number 1, which one of those which list all the ones that are integers? Brandon?
0, -56, and -75.
The what?
0, -56, 75, and 2000.
Yeah. Negative 56, 0, 75, and 2,675. Those are integers, okay? 3/4 is not an integer because it's a fraction. It's not a whole number or a counting number, okay? 0.65 is not an integer because it's a decimal number. Now, you can have a decimal number that's negative or positive, but right now we're not talking about those. We'll talk about those in section, I think it's 6.6 if I remember right. Okay? So, those are that. Now, look at number 2. Number 2 has 1,333 feet above sea level. 1,333 feet above sea level. Now, the directions tell you to write the integer that represents that situation, then write the opposite of that integer. Okay, so being above sea level, would that be positive or negative? It'd be positive since you're not a fish. Okay, so that would be 1,333. Now, what is the opposite of 1,333, Jesse? Right. So negative 1,333. So those two things are your answers. What did it? Look at the screen. What did I write down on the screen? That's what you write. That's number 2, the problem and the answer. So I want you to do number 3 on your own. Number 3 says 16 degrees below 0. So, what's the number that represents that situation, Quade? Negative 16. What's the opposite of negative 16, Tayshawn? 16. Because the directions tell us to. Now, if you look at number 6, it says copy and complete the statement using the less than or greater than sign. So they give you negative 2, and 5. So in that blank, first of all, which is larger, 5 or negative 2, Jesse? 5. So we want to put the less than sign, is less than, in the blank. Because the point, once again, points at the smaller number. Number 7. Number 7 says negative 8 and negative 12. Negative 8 and negative 12. Which sign goes in that blank? Tayshawn? Greater than sign. That is correct. Okay. All right. Now, look down at number 25. 25 says 0 is less than D, D is greater than, we read this as D is greater than 0. That's how we read that. So, they want two numbers that would make that statement true. There's infinite numbers, but what would be one number, Jesse, that would make that true? 1. And what else would be bigger than 0? Levi? 5. Okay. So basically, it's any number that is greater than 0. You could put 1,000,000, you could put 1,200, you could put all that. Then it would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, any of those. Okay. Look at 27. 27 says -10 greater than k. You read this as k is less than -10. So what's a number less than -10? Take Sean. Okay, -25. What's another number? Quade? -12. Okay. Obviously there, we're not all going to list the same numbers. Okay, that's fine. Okay, just make sure that it satisfies the situation. Brandon? This says less than because the point is pointing at the k. So you want, in other words, you want to check it like this. Is -10 greater than -25? Okay. Is -10 greater than -12? Okay. So those are good numbers. I can use those. That's how you would check it. Okay. Now let's look at 29. (29) says -28, 18, 7, -17, 0, -12. They want it from least to greatest. So it's -28, -17, -12, 0, 7, 18. Okay? So your homework is 1 through 40. 6.1, 1 through 40.